Hisoka has been right under Kurapika's nose the whole time, and Kurapika still can't smell the gum. Hello, and welcome back to Suck War Central. I'm CJ, and today we're going to be talking about what the crap this uncharacteristically not-so-murdery murder man is doing chilling in a casino when he said he'd be killing spiders. Now, the first thing we can do to figure out what this guy's thinking is look at his own words and compare them to what he's done. After fighting Crollo, Hisoka says, "This time, I've decided to make sure it's my opponents who can't decide who it is or where they'll have to fight." He then goes on to say, "No matter where they go or whoever they're with, I won't stop until I've killed them all." Lines like these make it seem like he plans to hunt down and kill the spiders, but he never actually says that. All Hisoka really says is that he won't let his opponents choose where the fight occurs and that he plans to kill them all. Nowhere does he say he's going to come to them. In fact, the way he's acting right now is actually more true to these words than going after them would be. See, the spiders are all spoiling for a fight. They're ready to throw down anytime, anywhere, any position. Sorry, got too caught up in Hisoka's choice of metaphor. Anyway, my point is that by denying the spiders the fight they want, Hisoka is doing exactly what he said he would, and it is genuinely a good plan. Since Hisoka's all the way up on tier 1, he's forcing the Phantom Troop to come to him, and they're getting into all sorts of trouble on the way, probably because they're all on edge and ready to go. Thinks Nobunaga and Phaeton are all mixed up with the Mafia, and the rest of the spiders are bending over backwards trying to get to tier 1. Well, except Franklin, he's just chilling. But other than that, by the time they get to him, they're going to be frustrated, worn out, and possibly even down a member or two, and these are not the conditions they'd want to fight him under. Another reason I don't think Hisoka is going to be prowling the ship in search of troop members anytime soon is the symbolism in his poker hand. Well, I say poker because that's what the manga calls it, but it really seems to be more of a variant of blackjack. Anyway, if you've seen any of my other videos, I'm sure you know that Yoshihiro Togashi loves the symbolism of the number 4. It's Hisoka's number, and in Japanese culture, it symbolizes death. Togashi often depicts Hisoka holding or wielding a number 4 card to symbolize that he's looking to spill some blood, but he's notably missing one here. To me, this suggests that Hisoka isn't experiencing the same bloodlust that he feels in moments when he's shown with the number 4 and is content to lie in wait as he's been doing. Hisoka's internal monologue in chapter 405 also contains hints about his plan. He states that he doesn't enjoy quote-unquote group play and wants to ravage a partner one-on-one. This makes me think that when he does fight the spiders, he's planning to divide them up and pick them off one at a time. It also suggests his overall plan is to kill the spiders one by one until only Crollo is left, which would just be incredibly brutal and sad. In any case, this makes me imminently afraid for Benolanov, who's watching Hisoka in disguise and is entirely by himself. Benolanov may be stealthily watching him, but we see in Greed Island that perfect Zetsu isn't enough. Hisoka always knows when he's being spied on. Additionally, Hisoka has a line about playing with himself, and this is incredibly bad news for Benolanov, who is, disguised as him. And I do think Hisoka meant that in a murder and violence way and not a
kiss each other!
Don't think it hasn't occurred to me.
Sort of way. So, what have we got on Hisoka's plan so far? Chill on tier 1 and wait for the spiders to come to him? Surely we figured it out and the video can be over, right? Yeah, no. Because this one line right here hints at something far more sinister going on. I'm just gonna say it right now. Hisoka's planning to use Kurapika to deal with the other spiders, because Hisoka doesn't care about them. He wants Crollo, and maybe Machi a little. Anyway, Crollo is the person he wants to face alone, so when he says that thing about how he doesn't like group play, he's still fine collaborating with people, he just prefers his fights for pleasure to be one-on-one. So we know Hisoka is on tier 1, but it goes much deeper than that. This line right here gives away something huge. Hisoka knows about the succession war. Benolanov muses that Hisoka might have made a connection with a prince to get onto tier 1, and I think he is bang on here. That's right, he's been on tier 1 the entire time. What's more, he's either heard or seen that Halkenberg's ability is a group one, so either he's been in close proximity to it, or knows someone that has, and that means he hasn't just been hanging around on the outskirts of this conflict. He's been elbow deep in the succession war. So, if we can figure out his source of information, we might be able to divine which prince he has a connection with. Now, the problem with this is that nobody has actually seen Hisoka in any prince's rooms. Kurapika's personally been to room 1003, Benjamin's not working with any hunters, and there's no way in hell Halkenberg would hire Hisoka to protect him. I named those groups because they are the ones who should know that Hulkenberg's ability is a group ability and who could have told Hisoka if they were working together. It's also possible Hisoka could have been a guard for a different prince and was, for some reason, able to go off to the VVIP area and do his own thing, or he just ditched his post. Given that the princes who had hired hunters as bodyguards are Tyson, Lazarus, Kacho, Momose, Mariam, and Wobble, if Hisoka accepted a job as a bodyguard, then a member of Kurapika's team would have seen him and probably known who he was or mentioned him to Kurapika. So naturally, this is impossible. Or is it? What if Hisoka was in disguise? After all, if he can create prosthetic limbs with texture surprise, surely he can create a suitable disguise as well. His only real restriction would be that he couldn't change his height. As a matter of fact, when we look at it from this perspective, there is a candidate in the guards of this group of princes who does have an excuse to slip away from his duty and seems to be about as tall as Hisoka. I'm talking about Bellarainte, who is currently employed by 7th Queen Savanti to protect 13th Prince Mariam. Bellarainte certainly acts like Hisoka would if he were trying not to attract attention. He's flippant and cheerful and doesn't take anything seriously and seems to enjoy death. There's this scene during Kurapika's Nen training where Berrigan, the 13th Prince's other guard in attendance, is attacked by Silent Majority and then shot by Sakata. And when Berrigan dies, Bellarainte has this weird little moment of almost gleefully examining the corpse and taunting Sakata for shooting him, and the speech bubble ends with a heart, which happens all the time with Hisoka. The entire scene just makes me think Hisoka in disguise, honestly. There's also the fact that Bellarainte was the one who came over to Kurapika's Nen training when Bisky and Hanzo would also have been options. It's possible that Savanti was the one who made the call, as the manga leads us to believe, but I think it's equally likely that Hisoka, disguised as Bellarainte, jumped at the chance to get close to Kurapika and volunteered to go himself. After all, he knows he's being hunted by the Phantom Troop, he wants to isolate Crollo from the others, and he and Kurapika have collaborated to fight the Phantom Troop before. As soon as he found out that Kurapika was here, I think Hisoka would immediately start scheming to form another alliance with him. He even goes out of the way to help stabilize Kurapika's position a bit. When Maor and Satobi accuse Kurapika of being the killer after the second Silent Majority attack, it's Bellarainte who stands up to defend him. So, we've got a guy who's as tall as Hisoka, can use Nen, got himself close to Kurapika, has been deep enough in the Succession War that it's possible he learned about Hulkenberg's ability, and acts like Hisoka. This still doesn't address the elephant in the room brought about by chapter 405. If this is Hisoka, then who the heck is this, chilling in a casino, very much out of disguise? Are there 3 Hisokas? Or if this is the man behind Bellarainte, doesn't he have a job to do? Well, yes, but his job has just been greatly limited. You see, the entirety of room 1013 has been transported to a pocket dimension that Bellarainte can no longer get back into. As such, guarding Prince Mariam is no longer part of his job. All he does now is attend Nen classes and make reports. That leaves him most of the day free to do conceivably anything. Hisoka could very well be enjoying his newfound freedom by spending time in the casino in the VVIP area or waiting for the right time to get in contact with Kurapika. So let's put this all together and see what we come up with. One unified theory of Hisoka, if you will. This is how I think Hisoka's time on the Black Whale went down. Hisoka, having spent time with the Phantom Troop over the years, likely knew that they would be boarding the ship on the lower tiers before working their way up higher, antagonizing the Mafia along the way. Appropriately, he decided to force the spiders to exhaust themselves and get into trouble chasing him down while he picked them off one by one at his convenience as they wandered into his reach. He created a disguise and signed up to guard Prince Mariam, an assignment he likely thought would be easy since he didn't know about the Succession War until it was too late. Once the Succession War got underway, Kurapika broadcasted the existence of Nen on the Tier 1's emergency channel. This alerted Hisoka that Kurapika was aboard the ship, and he began scheming to get close to Kurapika. His intention was likely to wait for the right moment to reveal himself to Kurapika and form an alliance. In my opinion, the right moment would be when multiple spiders reach Tier 1. When Prince Mariam's beast isolated room 1013 in a Nen space, Hisoka suddenly had more free time and didn't have to maintain his persona. He gambled idly in the VVIP area until he became aware of Benolanov watching him, and this is as far as the story goes. I believe that because Benolanov is alone on Tier 1, and Hisoka prefers his trysts to be between him and one other person, he will fight and kill Benolanov and have fun doing it. Once there's radio silence from Benolanov, however, This will alert Chrollo that he's likely been killed by Hisoka and convince him that Hisoka is on tier 1, so he'll make his move to reach that tier as quickly as possible. In anticipation of Chrollo bringing the spiders to tier 1, Hisoka will reveal himself to Kurapika and warn him that the spiders are coming. His goal will then be to form an alliance with Kurapika so that he can manipulate the situation to pick off all the other spiders and get Chrollo alone. Once he has Chrollo alone, he can have the rematch of his dreams, one-on-one, exactly how he likes it. So yeah, those are my thoughts about Hisoka's plan and what's going on with him. I hope you'll join me for my next bout of unfettered yapping, just as I hope you have a wonderful day.